Continuing with World Book, then the Viking Portable Library by Viking Press, the Hindu, and today we start with Hindu scriptures from the Rig-Veda. Creation. There was not, non-existent, nor existent. There was no realm of air, no sky beyond it. What covered in and where? What gave shelter? Was water there? Unfathomed depth of water. Death was not then, nor was there aught immortal. No sign was there. The days and nights divider. That one thing, breathless, breathed in by its own nature, apart from it, was nothing whatsoever. Darkness there was, at first concealed in darkness. This, all was indiscriminated chaos. All that existed then was void and formless. By the great power of warmth was born that unit. Who verily knows? Who can here declare it? Whence it was born, and whence comes this creation? The gods are later than this world's production. Who knows, then, whence it first came into being? And that's something else, I believe, is these things that people call gods happened after the creation. Well, I mean, they're a creation too, obviously. So they're not creators. Some of them are demiurges because they work things or claim to work things. He, the first origin of this creation, whether he formed it at all or did not form it, whose eye controls this world in highest heaven, he verily knows it, or perhaps he knows not. Dialogue between Yama and Yami, also in the Rig-Veda section. Fain would I win my friend to kindly friendship, so may the sage come through the air's wide ocean, remembering the earth and days to follow, obtain a son, the issue of his father. Yea, this the immortals seek of thee, with longing, progeny of the soul existing mortal. Then let thy soul and mind be knit together, and as a loving husband take thy consort. I, Yami, am possessed by love of Yama, that I may rest on the same couch beside him. I, as a wife, would yield to my husband like car wheels. That makes more sense. Let us speed to meet each other. They stand not still. They never close their eyelids, those sentinels of the gods who wander round us. Not me, go quickly wanton with another, and hasten like a chariot wheel to meet him. So don't be distracted by these things that claim they're gods and goddesses. By that I mean male and female. I will not fold mine arms about thy body. They call it sin, when one comes near his sister. Not me. Something wrong with you, then. Prepare thy pleasures with another. Thy brother seeks not this from thee, O fair one. Embrace another, Yami. Let another, even as the woodbine rings the tree, enfold thee. Win thou his heart, and let him win thy fancy, and he shall form with thee a blessed alliance. Well, the first humans definitely had an excuse, but it didn't take too long before there was not excuses for that sort of thing anymore. To Varuna from the Rig-Veda section. Sing forth a hymn sublime and solemn, grateful to glorious Varuna, imperial ruler, who has struck out like one who slays the victim, earth as a skin to spread in front of Surya, the sun. In the treetops the air he hath extended, put milk in kine, the cattle, and vigorous speed in horses, set intellect in hearts, fire in the waters, Surya in heaven, and Soma on the mountain, also a term for the moon. Varuna lets the big cask, opening downwards, flow through the heavens and earth and air's mid-region. Therewith the universe is sovereign waters, earth as the shower of rain bedews the barley. If we have sinned against the man who loves us, have ever wronged a brother, friend, or comrade, the neighbor ever with us or a stranger, O Varuna, remove from us the trespass. You know how some Christians pray to the Holy Ghost. That's the same sort of thing going on there. If we as gamesters cheat at play, have cheated, done wrong, and wittingly are sinned of purpose, cast all these sins away like loosened fetters, and Varuna, let us be thine own beloved. Now, you can be along with the sides of nature, or the angels of this, that, or the other. There's no problem with that. To Agni. Of course, Agni, like Soma, is a symbol for the consciousness. Agni is a symbol of the will. To Agni in praise of night and day. One half of the day is dark, and bright the other. Both atmospheres move on by sage devices. Agni Vaisvanara, when born as a sovereign, hath with his luster overcome the darkness. I know not either warp or woof. I know not the web they weave when moving to the contest. Whose son shall here speak words that must be spoken without assistance from father near him? For both the warp and woof he understandeth, and in due time shall speak what should be spoken. Who knoweth as the immortal world's protector, descending, seeing with no aid from another? He is the priest, the first of all. Behold him, mid-mortal men. He is the light immortal. Here was he born, firm-seated in his station, immortal ever waxing in his body. A firm light hath been set for man to look on. From among all things that fly, the mind is swiftest. All gods, of one accord, with one intention, move unobstructed to a single purpose. Now, the Tawheed, all the divine qualities, are just one God. They're not separate gods. Perhaps we'll see that in the Sanskrit. All the gods bowed them down in fear before thee. Agni, when thou wast dwelling in darkness, O Universal One, be gracious to assist us. May the immortal favor us and help us. And we see there the aspect of, like, remember how Adam was given free will, and the light beings all bowed to him. And people certainly worship the shining ones. To liberality from the Rig-Veda. The gods have not ordained hunger to be our death. Even to the well-fed man comes death in varied shape. The riches of the liberal never waste away, while he who will not give finds none to comfort him. The mind with food in store, who, when needy comes in miserable case, begging for bread to eat, hardens his heart against him. Even when of old he did him service, finds not one to comfort him. Let the rich satisfy the poor implorer, and bend his eye upon a longer pathway. Riches come now to one, now to another, and like the wheels of cars are ever rolling. And from the Atharva-veda, a charm against fear. As heaven and earth are not afraid, and never suffer loss or harm, even so my spirit, fear not thou. As day and night are not afraid, nor ever suffer loss or harm, even so my spirit, fear not thou. As Brahmanhood and princely power fear not, nor suffer loss, nor harm. Even so my spirit fear not thou, as truth and falsehood have no fear, nor ever suffer loss or harm. Even so my spirit fear not thou, as what hath been, and what shall not fear not, nor suffer loss nor harm. Even so my spirit fear not thou. And, fear personified in forms of demons, obviously. This can be used as an exorcism formula. And remember, some of these Vedic scriptures sound just beautiful in their original language, but in English they're like, I can do that. And people have made that claim about Quran. Oh, the language isn't terribly impressive. In Arabic it is. Even if you don't understand it or believe it, it's impressive. People would prostrate after hearing the Quran who didn't believe. One common spirit, also from the Atharva-veda. Prajapati engenders earthly creatures. May the benevolent ordainer from them, having one common wound and mind and spirit, he who is Lord of plenty, give me plenty, to heaven and earth. All hail to heaven, all hail to earth, all hail to air, all hail to air, all hail to heaven, all hail to earth. All hail. I said hail, not hair, right? Okay. Mine eye is sun, and my breath is wind. My air is soul. My air is my soul, and earth my body. I verily, who never have been conquered, give up my life to heaven and earth for keeping. Exalt my life, my strength, my deed and action. Increase my understanding and my vigor. Be ye my powerful keepers. Watch and guard me. Ye mistresses of life and life's creators. Dwell ye within me and forbear to harm me. And, that aspect of submission, that you're manifesting these qualities and you're in agreement with the divine plan. From the Satapatha Brahmana, the creation of Prajapati and the gods. Verily, in the beginning, this universe was water, nothing but a sea of water. The waters desired, how can we be reproduced? Remember earlier what says there was heat? Because, when the Big Bang, that, barely even describable sort of smallness had intense heat, and the universe, on average, is cooling per space. The waters desired, how can we be reproduced? They toiled and performed fervid devotions. When they were becoming heated, a golden egg was produced. The Quran talks about being stitched together and then torn apart. Another thing that Big Bang Theory talks about is that something happened in order for there to be a blowing apart. When they were becoming heated, a golden egg was produced. The year indeed was not then in existence. This golden egg floated about for as long as the space of a year. In Earth's time, a man, this Prajapati, was produced therefrom, and hence a woman, a cow, or a mare, brings forth within the space of a year, for Prajapati was born in a year. Desirous of offspring, he went on singing praises and toiling. He laid the power of reproduction into his own self. Remember that one story about the Aten from Egypt? By the breath of his mouth, he created the gods. The gods were created on entering the sky. And this, the godhead of the gods, Deva, they were created on entering the sky, Div. Having created them, there was, as it were, daylight for him. And this also is the godhead of the gods, that after creating them, there was, as it were, daylight, Diva, for him. And by the downward breathing, flatulence, he created the Asuras. They were created on entering this earth. Having created them, there was, as it were, darkness for him. So we see metaphorical truth beyond things that we can't take literal. He knew, verily, I have created evil for myself, since after creating there has come to be, as it were, darkness for me. Now, what daylight, as it were, there was for him, on creating the gods, of that he made the day, and what darkness, as it were, there was for him on creating the asuras, of that he made the night. They are these, two, day and night. Now these are the deities who were created out of Prajapati, Agni, Indra, Soma, and Parameshtath in Prajapati. So just as God has a persona, we too have our persona, which we may refer to the universe as, some people say gods and gods and all sorts of things because there's something about our psychology that's lacking, and we say, okay, we're not going to worship the creator of this, we're going to worship this, that, and the other, which are really connections to aspects of ourselves.